Hello, and welcome to the first installment of Ask HR's video series. Today, we're diving into a topic that many job seekers, both current employees and outside applicants, have questions about, and that is applying for a job with the State of New Mexico Environment Department. Now, if you've ever applied for a job in the private sector, you might notice that applying for a state position feels a little bit different, and there's a good reason for that. In the private sector, job applications tend to be more straightforward. You submit a resume, highlight your experience, and if you're a strong match, you might get a call for an interview pretty quickly. But when you're applying for a job with the State of New Mexico Environment Department, there are 3 additional steps to ensure that you are submitting the most robust resume. The first is describing your experience. The second is including exact dates of employment. And number 3, submitting official transcripts and professional certifications. So let's talk about the first one, describing your experience. Details matter, and here's why. At the Environment Department, when you submit your resume, HR specialists carefully review not just how many years you've worked, but what you did in each role to determine how your experience aligns with the job's minimum qualifications, which is the State of New Mexico's approved education and experience required for the job that you're applying for. And all candidates must meet the minimum qualifications to be considered for a position. So it's really important to carefully read the minimum qualifications to ensure that you meet all of the requirements. So, take the time to fully describe your past positions and responsibilities. Think beyond job titles. You have to explain what you did and be as thorough as possible in those descriptions. Let's look at an example. Instead of just saying that your job as a training specialist was that you recruited instructors, describe what that entailed, such as oversaw panels of faculty that interviewed and carefully vetted subject matter experts as potential instructors, and ensuring that candidates possess current credentials and certifications. Also, it's really important to avoid using acronyms. It's much better to spell it out instead of assuming that the person reading your resume knows what you're referring to. Now let's move on to item 2, where we're going to examine the importance of including exact dates of employment on your resume. Unlike the private sector, where a rough estimate of your time in a role might be enough, the state utilizes an experience calculator to determine your total years, months, and days of work experience. That's why it's crucial to include the exact start date and the exact end date for each position that you've held. As an example, if you list your employment as June of 2022 through August of 2024, that's a problem because HR can't accurately calculate your total experience. See, without specific dates, it's unclear when in June you started and when in August you ended. Instead, make sure to include the full date like this: June 16, 2022 through August 30th, 2024. Now, HR can precisely and accurately calculate the duration of your experience, ensuring that you get full credit for every day you worked. The experience calculator automatically totals up your work experience. So if the dates are incomplete, you could lose credit for time that you actually worked, which could impact your eligibility or even your salary alignment. And here's a bonus. Be sure to include on every position whether or not it was full or part-time. All right, let's move on to item 3, official transcripts. Why are official transcripts so important? If the position that you're applying for has educational requirements, you must submit an official transcript or diploma to verify your degree. But not just any document will do. Your transcript has got to include 3 key details. So, the first item is the name of the institution. The second is the degree that was earned. And the third is the date that the degree was earned or conferred. And please keep in mind that in-progress degrees do not count. So, without these details, your application may be considered incomplete, and that could delay the hiring process. Let's dive a little deeper and talk about transcripts from outside of the United States. If your degree was earned outside of the United States, you'll need to have it evaluated for U.S. equivalency by a recognized credentialed evaluation service. Only evaluations from members of the National Association of Credential Evaluation Services are accepted. So, if this applies to you, make sure to attach the evaluation report to your application to ensure that your education is properly considered. Here's a couple of other quick little bonus points. Make sure that all documents that you are uploading in your application packet are PDFs. Never submit a Word document or a TXT, anything that can be modified. You don't want to upload that. Always upload PDFs that cannot be modified. And the second thing, keep in mind that once you've submitted your application packet and the position date closes, we cannot accept an updated application or resume. So be sure to take all of these points into consideration before hitting the send button. Internal alignment. Internal alignment is basically all about making sure that salaries are consistent and equitable across the environment department. Internal alignment ensures that employees are hired and compensated fairly based on their experience, years of work history, and education. So the more detailed and accurate your job descriptions are, the easier it is for us to align your experience with the role you're applying for. Always remember that if you have any questions about the application process, our HR team is here to help. Simply reach out to us at the address on the screen, and we'll be happy to guide you through the process. So, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ask HR video series. Remember, details matter when applying for a state job, and a well-prepared application can make all the difference. Until next time.